Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome back to another live. We have got a lot to cover in this show. Thank you for joining. Anyone that's tuned in, if you're watching on replay, thank you for that. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It goes a long way in helping me obviously grow and do more shows like this. Yes, we are coming in a little bit later than usual today, only because I've been busy watching. Well, I say been busy, but obviously watching the Club World Cup, Juventus against Man City, and Man City won 5-2, an annihilation of Juventus. An horrendous on goal today, but it is what it is. But listen, at the Arsenal front, that's where we are today. Arsenal seem to be getting all their businesses in gear. It's like they've woken up overnight and thought, you know what, the last couple of days, was it June the 25th yesterday, June 26th today, and Arsenal woke up and said, you know what, we are going to start our transfers now. We're ready to go. And that's basically what Arsenal have been doing or are doing. And there's been a lot of news in the last 24 hours when it comes to Arsenal. So in today's show, obviously, I'm going to be covering it. There's a lot of transfer links, as you guys obviously can potentially see in regards to the title there. Obviously, transfer news. Mosquera is in, and obviously Eze or Rodrigo next. I'm going to obviously be covering all of that in regards to all the links when it comes to Arsenal transfers. But there's only one place to start, guys, and I'm going to start here. We woke up, or should we say, when we woke up this morning or early this afternoon, we had some massive news from Arsenal, and that was Lewis Skelly. Miles Lewis Skelly, our A-Land Academy player, has signed a new long-term 5-year contract, by the way. So obviously he's extending his contract. There's been speculations recently to suggest that Lewis Skelly obviously was being scouted or was being looked at by Real Madrid and everyone else. So Real Madrid obviously was keeping an eye out, trying to see exactly what was going to be going on with Miles Lewis Skelly. And Arsenal have basically extended this contract. He's put pen to paper. It was a great signing, if you ask me. Yeah, and honestly, when he signed and this was announced, and I mean, let's be honest, it was basically a breaking news the other day about Fabrizio and hands of Arsenal and a lot of reputable sources in terms of breaking this news that Miles Lewis Kelly had already put pen to paper. It was just a matter of time before Arsenal announced it, and this morning they announced it. And as you can see from the comments here, everybody was happy from literally, and I love the video as well. I love the announcement video, especially from Arsenal. They basically obviously got all his family there, as you guys can see here. They got all his family there. His grandma made it to the stadium, and obviously Miles Lewis Skelly was there, wait, and all his friends and family, his mom, even Ian Wright was there, his teachers was there, and it was such happy times, as you guys can see. Little did he know, his mom was there. I think school teachers, primary, like secondary school teachers, trainers, academy um coach and staff, and also right, as I said, look, his family, literally all the closest loved ones, all his loved ones, all his friends, and it was just so amazing to see. And this was similar to what they did with Bukayo Saka a few years back when he also signed. So seems to be like a trend now from Arsenal in terms of the players from the Highland, as you guys can see here, all the players from Highland, and obviously they're just basically obviously showing a lot of videos and stuff. I know the family and stuff. It was just amazing to see, to say the least. And obviously he had a few messages that he was watching from a lot of Arsenal fans, which was a compilation that Arsenal put together, which is amazing. And yeah, obviously Lewis Skelly, number 49, you know, and now Arsenal are basically advertising to get the number 49 shirt. 49 undefeated. I love the fact that he stuck with the number 49. It is amazing. Honestly, this was probably one of the best news of today. And yeah, let's listen. He broke into the club, into the first team, should I say, last season, and it was amazing. He went on the tour with Arsenal last year, the summer tour to America. I think it was him, Wanyeri, Jaden Hayden when he was at the club at the time. there was a lot of academy players, and he was good. And I watched a lot of the games. They were playing in America, and they were showing it here around 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I stayed up. Not gonna lie, I actually stayed up for a few games, and I watched a few of the games that Lewis Skelly obviously played in, and it was amazing. And I said, this boy is talented, which then surprised me when we eventually went on to sign um, Fury later on in that summer transfer windows when we knew Lewis Skelly was playing well. But listen, we're not going to talk about that because Fury is already at the club. It is what it is. But what I am going to basically say is how happy I am that Miles Lewis Skelly has signed a new contract at Arsenal, extending it for another 5 years, which obviously has fended off a lot of people that were interested and keeping an eye out as to what will happen when it comes to Miles Lewis Skelly. So definitely quite happy about that. Let me know in the comments how you felt, where you was when the news broke and everything else in regards to that. So not too long after that, obviously then we had another breaking news. We had because as you guys know, right, yesterday obviously it was broke and news broke out yesterday, and I think a lot of Arsenal fans went into meltdown, similarly to myself, because there was a lot of debates yesterday in regards to Christian Norgard, Thomas Partey, and all that stuff. Because ultimately, I believe everybody was hoping that Thomas Partey was going to sign, including myself. I'm a Thomas Partey fan. I'm not going to go over all of that again. But yesterday was a massive busy day for Arsenal because it came out of nowhere, and it was like within 24 hours, Arsenal was linked with Norgard and pretty much agreed a fee with Brentford, agreed personal terms with Norgard, and a medical was scheduled for, I think it was like today or tomorrow. And before you know it, the signing will be done. So I'm expecting Arsenal to start making a lot of announcements from now till the end of the season, or actually no, from now till when the preseason starts, which is, I believe they're flying out on June, or the preseason actually starts in on June the 29th. No, sorry, July the 19th, I believe. July the 19th. That's when Arsenal are playing. I think they're playing AC Milan in one of their first preseason games. And as you guys can see from this bottom corner right here, I've got the three players that there was a news that broke earlier today when it comes to Arsenal. So the first news that actually broke again from the hand of Arsenal, a very reputable source on Twitter at the moment, or X, whatever you want to call it. And he basically broke this news and brought it out of nowhere. No one expected this news to actually break. And it was for this. And he basically said, exclusive. Arsenal are targeting another Christian, Mosquera, as their ideal defensive choice this summer. Contacts have already been established as Arsenal look to beat off rivals. Andre Berta has backed up options lined up just in case the deal does not go through. So that was earlier today, as you guys can see there, around 1:48 p.m. That's when the news initially broke, and everybody was like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" This was not basically what we was expecting. We was expecting whether it was a striker or even a left winger or an attacking player, and then everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's another defender. We've got enough defenders, enough as it is." And personally, my personal view on this was I looked at it and I thought, this makes perfect sense. If you watch my last stream, and I think it was yesterday, I was basically going through the squad and the backup players that we had and that we didn't have. And one of the positions I basically said was the Saliba position, that we had no solid backup for Saliba. Almost everywhere, I think there was like three places that I identified. Saliba was one. Saka, I believe, was one, and I think the striking position was one, that we didn't have a good enough backup, or actually a player that was solidifying that position. And Lord behold, before you know it, I woke up the next day, and around 1:48 p.m. we get this breaking news to say Arsenal are in for this midfielder, for this defender. What we do know about him, he currently plays for Villarreal. He's a 20-year-old central defender. a centre back who is going to be great at. Apparently, he's quite physical. He's tall. Another one for the set pieces. Um, and yeah, apparently he's a good all round player. But apparently, from what I have read and I have seen, it's that basically we need a he lacks concentration. Shout out to you, Yates, in the comments. I'm gonna get you up in a minute. But yeah, apparently this guy is good. And before you know it, later on, another development, which was basically again from the hand of God, which basically said this was now around 5:44 p.m. He basically said Arsenal are now aiming to close a deal for Christian Mosquera for a fee around under 19 million euros. That is not bad. From what I've also read, the reason why Arsenal are basically trying to get this deal done as quickly as possible is because the likes of Tottenham and also apparently Real Madrid are in for this guy. And as you guys already know, Arsenal basically wanted Hoyson, who has now gone to Real Madrid. So Arsenal have now had to pivot to Mosquera. So he says it here, personal terms are not seen as an issue. I've read elsewhere that personal terms have probably been agreed, and this guy obviously has given the green light for to go to Arsenal. I think Fabrizio Romano reported that not too long ago as well. And I see there's still some work to be done, but talks are very advanced at this stage. Andre Berta is aiming to get the player in for pre-season if possible. And as I said earlier, it seems like Arsenal are moving fast in all these deals that that they're trying to get over the line as much as possible. Because I said it on one of my videos. If you follow me on TikTok, I basically said it's like Arsenal seem to have woken up all of a sudden. It's like we went from being quiet and everybody basically saying, "Oh, Arsenal not doing this. We need a striker. What's going on?" And all this yada yada yada. And next thing you know, June the 25th, Arsenal decided to wake up. First, it was no God because obviously Partey was going. June the 26th, now is Christian Mosquera. It's like we're like a Christian. We're like Christians. It's like we went from having Jesus, now we got two Christians. I'm joking, I'm joking. Will we ever sign a striker? Yates said, yes, we will try and sign a striker. I did say basically yesterday in one of in my live show that I'm of the opinion, and I think there's speculation to suggest that it's looking more likely that we are going to sign Benjamin Sesko, and I'll basically get that up for you as soon as I can, because there was a tweet that I did have yesterday which I also shared on my on my live stream yesterday, and I basically said it's like Arsenal are looking at signing Benjamin Sesko, because I mean there was a lot of speculation yesterday to suggest that Arsenal excuse me, Arsenal basically I've identified Sesko, that that's the player basically that they wanted. And also what I've also read was, I think there was people were saying that he was following Arsenal on Instagram as well. So there was that point as well that was being made, that he's following Arsenal on Instagram. Even Fabrizio Romano posted that, and that is unfamiliar for Fabrizio Romano. And he basically posted that yesterday in Fabrizio Romano, basically saying that Arsenal are going no sorry that that Cisco has started following Arsenal on Instagram, and everybody was like, oh my god, he's coming to Arsenal, so it's no more Gyökeres. Now um it's gonna be Sesko. And yes, it is gonna be Sesko, unfortunately, because apparently now Liverpool are also in for Gyökeres, and also Manchester United are pivoting towards Gyökeres as well. So this is basically a post from yesterday, basically stating, and this man, I'm telling you now, if you're not following him on TikTok, not TikTok, on Twitter or X, you need to go and follow him. And this is basically what he was saying yesterday. Arsenal and Benjamin Sesko have come to an agreement over personal terms. And as I said yesterday, yes, the personal terms cool, but you still also need to agree a fee with the player. With the club. So he basically posted this initially on the 8th of June. And I trust this guy because he was one of the first people that's broken a lot of news for Arsenal, for Manchester City, for Liverpool, you name it. He breaks it and is almost 100% correct. And now he retweeted it just yesterday. Yesterday, he retweeted it and he basically retweeted the same post, meaning, in my opinion, that Arsenal are more likely to get Benjamin Sesko in as opposed to a Gyökeres. And that's basically what is going to be happening now. And so anybody, I don't know, I was one of the few people that was basically saying I wanted Gyökeres. I'm not going to lie. I was in the Gyökeres camp. I'm not in the Sesko camp, but ultimately, if Arsenal do get Sesko, because you have to also understand, like last season, in terms of last summer, it would have been Sesko, but he wanted to stay in Leipzig for another year. And then he obviously had an agreement to leave at the end of the year. And Arsenal have done a lot of groundwork. There's been a lot of groundwork. When you listen to all this reputable, um, all the reputable, journalists, they have basically said Arsenal have put in a lot of groundwork, probably for about 2 to 3 years. They've been tracking Seshko, and that's more to do with Arteta, not Edu, because he's now gone. This is more to do with Arteta. This has been always been Arteta's man, but unfortunately, it's now falling on Andrea Berta to basically get this deal over the line. And as we know, reports have suggested that Andrea Berta would rather Gyökeres, but he has always maintained that Arteta wants Benjamin Sesko, and it's looking very much likely that Arteta is going to get his man. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. If you're here live, shout out to you. If you're obviously watching this on replay, put it in the comments. Are you team Sheshko or are you team Gyökeres? My guy here, Yates, is basically saying, what are you saying, bro? You are saying I was kind of team Gyökeres, but I'll be happy with Sesko. We just need an out and out striker at this point. Who would you prefer out of the two? I already said it. Basically, bro, I'm team Gyökeres all day long. I'm not gonna lie to you. Team Gyökeres all day long. And yeah, I think to be fair, I think most it's rare to see a lot of Arsenal fans saying that they want Seshko from the get go, considering what we've been watching in the last season in terms of goal rate and um in terms of compare. I hate comparing stats. But you have to look at the obvious. A striker's job is to score goals, right? So therefore, when you look at that, if you're saying a striker's job is to score goals, your career has been banging in goals. Your career has been banging in goals. And there's been people saying, oh, but he's only been scoring penalties. Most of his goals are penalties. So he still has to convert. Some people miss penalties, but he still has to convert. But if he was to come to Arsenal, let's be honest, he's not taking penalties. But with the amount of chances that Arsenal create, the amount of times, look at that PSG game, for example, that we played, the second leg in particular. In the first couple of minutes, Declan Rice misses an header. In the next chance, Martinelli misses a chance close up. And then the next chance, Donnarumma, bloody hell, makes a save against the I think, yeah, Odegaard's shot. So ultimately, it's like we keep saying if we have a clinical striker, and it looks like Gyökeres is a clinical striker, it's not one of those ones we're waiting for a couple of years for him to now start picking up speed. He's already there. And better yet, he's played in England before. Maybe not in the Premier League, I believe, but he's played in England before. So he's so physical, he's on it, and he knows what he wants. So for me, Yates, I would have basically wanted Gyökeres, but with the speculations at the moment, is looking very, very likely that we are going to be getting Benjamin Sesko. Just to go back on this Christian Mosquera thing. Let me know what you think in regards to this, because ultimately I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say I know the player. I don't know the player. I'm not gonna lie. I barely watch La Liga these days since obviously the TV deals have changed in the last couple of years. It's very hard to get La Liga games up in England at the moment. They show the ones that they want to show, and then you basically watch the ones that you can watch. So I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say, oh, I know what Christian Mosquera is all about. I'm even hoping I'm pronouncing his name right. Mosquera, sorry. But from reading from journalists and from other people, they're basically saying that it seems like this guy is the real deal. And that's what it's looking like. Basically, people are saying this guy is the real deal. So I'm just looking at him saying, if people like Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, Hand of Arsenal, and also Sammy Mockbell are saying that, you know what, this guy is a real deal. And obviously, again, if teams like, let's say, for example, Real Madrid are looking at him, then clearly, I mean, that's got to hold a lot of weight, in my opinion. And for him to have basically said yes to come to Arsenal already, I mean, this must probably have been a work in the background, in my opinion, because this can't just be a one-day job. It's not a one-day job. Clearly, Arsenal has been working on this in the background, probably for the last, I don't know, weeks, months, you name it, because we don't know. We never know everything that's going on in the background. And obviously, us fans, as we're sitting here thinking, what's going on? We're checking our phones every day. There's no news on Arsenal. Arsenal not making movements, and then bang, no God, Masquero, Lewis Skelly has signed, Gabriel has signed, Kepa pretty much done, Zubimendi is pretty much done, and now, you know, it's just gonna. I basically think now it's just basically gonna pick up so much pace in regards to what we are gonna be doing before our preseason tour. I definitely need to check exactly where that is. And I think because I've got it on my calendar, we are playing AC Milan first. From what I noticed, we are playing AC Milan in 26 days, from what I can see here on my screen. So that's the first game, and I think we're going on tour for that. But Christian Mosquera, it makes sense to me. Let me know what you guys think. It makes sense to me because, as I've said, Saliba, he didn't. I think he missed the last couple of games of the season, last season, and and the season before he got injured. And we were playing like, I think it was Ben White, and I think even going back a couple of seasons when we were challenging for the league as well, we ended up playing Rob Holding. I know I'm going back a little bit. We were playing Rob Holding, and then I think towards the end of last season, we ended up playing Kivio and Calafiori, two left-footed centre backs. I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it was against Newcastle. We won, but if you had a right-footed centre back, that would have potentially worked better. And apparently, this guy, he can challenge Saliba. And let's be honest, how many of us actually knew about Saliba before we got him? A lot of us didn't. We didn't know anything about Saliba. And then I think this was in the Emery era. We got Saliba in from Saint Laurent or Saint Orient, from France, basically, and then we sent him back on loan. Obviously, he came back pre-season, sent him back on another loan, came back pre-season, and sent him back on another loan. It went on like 3 years, almost 3 years. He spent on loan, but then he came back, and obviously, a lot of the fans were saying, "Just play this guy, play this guy." We can see in France that this guy is killing it. And now he's probably one of our best players. Him and Gabriel are one of the best two pairing defenders in the world. Let's be honest about it. So this Mascara, I'm not. Listen, I'm for it. Everyone can be like, oh, he's another defender. But I have also said, I think we need either a backup or someone that can challenge Saliba on that right centre back role. And if this guy is going to be the one, it makes sense to me. For 19 million euros for a 20-year-old. Oh, come on. In this day and age, Liverpool are paying 40 million pounds for Kirkes. And then by Leverkusen, I think they're paying about 35 million or 40 million pounds for Kwanzaa. And we're getting this guy, 20-year-old, for 19 million euros. I think this is probably going to turn out to be one of the greatest businesses when we look back on it in about 3 to 4 years' time, in my opinion. Because we're looking back on Saliba now, however many years later, and how much is he worth now? If any team wants to come for Saliba right now, they're probably gonna have to pay in the regions of over 100 million pounds. So I think potentially, let's just see, because like I said, I don't know the guy. I've never really watched him play, so I really couldn't tell you what he's all about. But all up for it. Let me know what you think in regards to it. My guy Yates, what you saying? Thank you, brother, for joining me so late on. He's played in the championship. Yeah, it's got similar physicality, just lacks the tempo. No, but listen, I totally agree with you, my brother. Totally agree with you. But you also don't have to bear in mind in the championship, they played every, was it 3 to 4 days? They'll play on Tuesday and maybe Friday or Saturday, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong. So physicality wise, he was on it, and he, from what I think, he played for Coventry, if I'm correct, right? Played for Coventry, and from what I heard, he played really, really well. And I think Coventry has also got a sell-on clause, hence the reason why I think Sporting are trying to negotiate more money. And apparently, also, I was reading today that apparently, as we all know, the reason why Gyökeres is getting really pissed off with Sporting at the moment is he believed he had a gentleman's handshake in January, that he was able to be able to leave in summer for a certain amount of price. However, the person that he had the handshake with is no longer at Sporting. So that's irrelevant. So the person that's now in that role is looking at it thinking, what's my problem? I wasn't here. I didn't shake your hand to say you can leave for a certain amount. So now my guy is like, listen, my job is to serve the club best interest. And if that means if Arsenal are in for you, Man United are in for you, Liverpool are in for you, whoever is in for you, they're all gonna have to pay the money we're asking. Because ultimately, you're a goal scorer, you're a goal machine. So, and I think that's the sticking point at the moment. And I think that's the reason why Gyökeres is getting really, really, really peed off at the moment. Yeah. So yeah. Um yeah, and at the moment I just basically, in terms of it, listen, at the end of the day, like I said, I think your career is listen, I could be wrong, but is leading more towards Sesko from what I've been seeing at the moment. So again, I could definitely be wrong, but from what I am seeing at the moment, it's looking towards Sesko. Yeah. Yeah. You think that they have a scary schedule? Sorry, who you talking about? Arsenal, or you mean who exactly has a scary schedule? But yeah, so in regards to that, so that's basically one of the news, obviously, that broke today. So I'm gonna move on to the next piece of news that obviously broke after. When I tell you that today, that's why I'm doing the show quite late, because I was a bit like, I wonder what else is gonna come out before I do my show tonight. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna wait. Before you know it, before you know it, we had another sort of breaking news or sort of speculation that was going around. And this is now an attacking player, which I was really happy with. And I was just like, is this for real? Are we definitely thinking about this? Because if anyone's on my TikTok, right, I've been saying this, I will take this guy all day. And basically, the guy that I'm basically talking about is there on my screen, as you guys can see, is basically man like Eze, Eberiche Eze. As we all know, if you're an Arsenal fan, you would have known before that this guy obviously was an Arsenal player before he was at the academy. He got released when he was about, I think, 13. He got released. He got released when he was about 13, and obviously he's been playing. He's played elsewhere. He's literally built his way back up now. So Ben Jacobs, again, a reputable, a reputable journalist, basically tweeted earlier today saying that Arsenal have added Eberiche Eze to their list of left wingers target. Eze also being considered by Spurs. So obviously, if Arsenal wants to get that done, they need to move fast. He has a £68 million release clause in his place, in his Palace contract. Sorry, Rodrigo also amongst the interest, which is another player, hence the reason why it's on the screen. Real winger will discuss his future with Alonso before deciding whether to explore an exit. Real are prepared to sell for around €90 million. That's around £77 million. I've got to check that. So my thing now is to you guys, because I know what I'd want. Actually, I don't know. Actually, no. Take that back. I don't know. £68 million or let's see, how much is 90 million euros in pounds? Because we've got to do the maths here. Because honestly speaking, um, 90 million. I need to see. I need to do this math because this is crazy. Um, 90 million euros in pounds. It's seven. Okay, just under 77 million pounds. 90 million euros is 76.6 million pounds. So the question now is, do we then pay 68 million pounds for Eberechi Eze, who, by the way, is Premier League proven, Premier League experience, used to play for Arsenal, so he's basically an academy Arsenal graduate. Really and truly, I know you got released already. I mean, he's not really a graduate, but he knows about the Arsenal. He got released around the age of 13. But 68 million or 77 million, would you now pay the extra almost 10 million pounds in getting Rodrigo as opposed to Eberechi Eze? I'm not gonna lie to you. This is a tough one in this current market to be able to get a player like Rodrigo. I think he's like 22, give or take, for 77 million pounds. I will be tempted because I'm telling you that now. This fan base will go mad, including myself. If we were to get Eberechi Eze from, oh, sorry, if we were to able to get Rodrigo from Real Madrid, that would be a massive coup because it'll basically be like a reminiscent of when we got. Do you remember the time that we got Sanchez in, or even like a Özil, or even an Aubameyang? How mad the fan base went when we got those kind of players. And I think if we got Rodrigo, it's gonna be that kind of feeling again, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, Eberechi Eze, I would want him as well. I think ultimately, if Arsenal are bad, if Arsenal are bad and they really want to go for this title and show flex and say people, yeah, we're here. We're not just here to participate. We're here to compete. They would literally just go all out and get Eze and Rodrigo because Eze can play left wing and he can also play where Odegaard plays. And as we all know and watched last season, Odegaard did not play that well. Odegaard did not play that well. Yates, what are you telling me? He said, honestly, man, your content is really good quality and vibes. Keep this up, Mr. Gooner. Listen, much appreciated, my guy. Appreciate you. And then you went on to say, Eze would be a dream signing. I can't lie. Bro, listen, I've been saying this guy from last season. When he scored that goal in the FA Cup final, I was like, I want this guy. I want this guy. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm getting gassed like we're buying it. I'm getting gassed. I'm getting gassed. Literally. Honestly, like, I'm not going to lie to you, yeah. If we got Eze over Rodrigo, I would not be disappointed. And that's the maddest thing. It would be like he's coming back home. Unpopular opinion. What's your unpopular opinion? What you say to me? What you say to me? Unpopular opinion, I'll take Eze over Rodrigo. I don't know. Who's got a higher ceiling? Honestly speaking, who's got? I think, okay, let's look at the pros and the cons here with Rodrigo and with Eze. Because right now, okay, who's more gettable? Let's look at it. Who's more gettable? Right now, I think Eze is more gettable. Eze is definitely more gettable because we know at the right price. And from what I've also read, and I'll show it to you guys in a minute, in terms of, I think it was Sammy Mockbell out, there was a breakdown of how much Crystal Palace are willing to take for Eze. So this is the reason why I'm saying Eze is probably more gettable. So £68 million, right? So from what I have read, three installments of 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, which is 60 million euros and £8 million in add-ons. And Crystal Palace will be willing to accept that. That's what I have read. And I'm sure I read that earlier today. And I'm trying to see where I got it up because I've got another alternative who we can potentially go for. And I'm sure I saw it earlier today in terms of Eze, in terms of like the breakdown of how much potentially, excuse me, Palace are willing to take. And let's be honest, Eberechi Eze for £68 million. Are you having a laugh? Are you having a laugh? bro, I will take this all day. I would I will actually take this all day. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's one of those things where I'm looking at it and I'm just like, just get it done. Rather than saying, oh, he's on the list. I hate this kind of, oh, he's on the list, he's on the list. It's like when the name, if I think when the name Rodrigo came up, everybody's like, oh my God, I'll take him any day. But then Eze's coming up, just like yourself, Yates. And now people are saying, actually, I'll take Eze over Rodrigo. But I'm saying I will take either. I'm not gonna lie to you. I will take either it's Eze, I will take Rodrigo. We just need a quality attacking player. Up to me, if we had the funds, I will take both. Because Liverpool have already spent about £200 million on 4 players, 3 or 4 players, if I'm right. Obviously, Verts, they've got Frimpong, and then they've got Kirkes. And apparently they've got their goalkeeper, which they already had an agreement with since last season, who's now joining them this season. So that's 4 players they've actually got in this summer already. And that's basically Liverpool. They've spent over 200 million. If we are spending how much was it? 9 million pounds on Norgard. Um, the Zubimendi one, we're paying a little bit over the odds, so that way we can pay in installments, so we don't have to pay the full release clause. So that way we can potentially recuperate the money through Champions League next season. So that's only 2 players at the moment. So when you look at it, so 50, I think it was 60 million euros, which is 50 something million pounds, plus 11 or 9 million pounds. So you're only looking at we would have only spent about 60 to 65 million pounds on 2 players. And then if you go and get a striker, someone like a Sesko or Gyökeres, you're probably saying you're adding another 60 to 70 million pounds. So you're now talking in the regions of 120 to 130 million pounds on 3 players, which is fine. I don't mind that. And then if you was to then add whether it's Rodrigo or Eze, either or, because with the Rodrigo and Eze, you can pay in installments. As I said, Eze 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, that's 60 million. That'll probably take us to almost 190 million pounds. And then you add, let's say, Rodrigo to that will probably take us to 250, give or take. So 250 million to 260 million pounds in one transfer window is not breaking the bank, in my opinion. Because then, okay, yeah, then let's say we've got this guy in, this Mosquera in. To bro, like, but at least then you're sorted. You're sorted because Eze can play on the left wing. He can play as a number 10. You can probably push him to the right and he would bang. And then you've got Rodriguez. And in my opinion, just sell Trossard to the Saudis. Then you can recuperate some money. Probably sell Kivio because it's either you sell Kivio or you sell Calafiori. Zinchenko's going, so we can recuperate some money in terms of transfer fees. So it's not a case of, oh, you're going to spend almost 300 million pounds and then not get any money coming in. You are going to get money coming in. And this is what's annoying me about this club. It's as though like Arsenal, it's as though that Arsenal are going on as if like they don't have money. We have money, but it's just these bloody cronkies. They're just keeping the money for their LA Rams in America. It's pissing me off. Honestly, what's my guy saying? Go shout out a couple of your comments. Yates, basically, what you saying? You said Premier League proving in terms of ceiling. I don't watch real enough to judge, but Eze, I've watched plenty, and he's a good baller, bro. Listen, I've watched Real Madrid a lot because Real Madrid is like my Spanish team. Let's be honest, we all have like a second team. Like Real Madrid is like my Spanish team, and then Dortmund is like my German team, right? But obviously, I'm a Gooner, as you know. So I watch a lot of Real Madrid games. Last season and the season before, Rodrigo was killing it. He got a couple of injuries, which then set him back. But Rodrigo is a baller. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I won't be sitting here. Like I said, I don't know this Christian Mosquera guy, so I can't comment on him, but I can comment on Rodrigo because he's a baller. The problem with Rodrigo is he wants to play on the left. So that's where last season, hence the reason why Real Madrid didn't do that well. And because of the inclusion of Mbappe, who basically kind of like free roams around the number 9, number 10 role, kind of goes over to the left. It kind of messed up with Rodrigo, so he didn't know where he belonged. Sometimes he was playing out on the right, it felt out of place. Then he'll come over to the left, he'll swap with Vinny. It didn't fit well. Then the swap back, there was no cohesion. And then it was like he got dropped a couple of games, and it was like, where do I fit in? And that's the problem with Rodrigo at the moment. Here's the reason why he's going to need to have a conversation with Javi Alonso and know where he fits in the team. Because right now, where you've got Mbappe, where you've got Vinny, his time is getting limited, unfortunately. And that's the problem when it comes to Rodrigo. But he's a baller, I'll tell you that. Got another chat here. Wesley, what are you saying, my brother? Gyökeres, Saka, Rodrigo as a front three with Eze as a number 10. Dude, imagine that. Oh, brother, don't get me started. Don't listen. Listen, I'll go mad. If that happened, brother, if that listen, let me not. I'm getting too excited. You're getting me too, you're getting me too excited, bro. You're getting me too excited. Yeah, it's what you say. Now, definitely be happy with either one. Both are quality players. No one can complain if we get one of them. Exactly. Who's going to complain in the fan base? If anyone in this fan base complain if we get Eze or Rodrigo, they're deluded. They are deluded, because if you don't know ball and you're thinking and you complain, to be fair, let me not even let me not do a hypothetical, because we both know, or we all know, we will all be happy with either as Rodrigo or Eze. We both know that. We all know this. So ultimately, you know what? Rodrigo or Eze, I don't mind it. I'm down for this. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because listen, Wesley, you got man hot with that comment. The aura's getting to you, brother. I'm sweating. What you saying? You said it almost sounds too good to be true. Listen, you're getting me hot because I'm thinking about it in my head, and I'm like, look at it. You know when you do that starting lineup and you look at it, you're thinking, oh my God, either Eze or Rodrigo, Sesko, Gyökeres, Saka. Oh my God. Tell me that won't bang. Tell me that. Listen. And then you went on to say, Wesley, what are you saying? Wesley. Let me get your name right. Westley. Sorry, my bad. Kivio, to be fair, did pretty well filling in for Gabriel. He's a good, strong backup. Listen, I agree with you 110%. That's why for me, if I was to sell a defender or a backup defender, it's going to have to be Calafiori. Apparently, there's teams in Italy that want him back. Send him back. Send him back. The guy's a model. Listen, he plays as a left back. How many times do you see this man stick to left back? Did you see the goal that he scored against Man City? I know Lewis Skelly scored a goal against Man City as well. But do you remember that first game that we played at the Etihad that Calafiori banged in that goal? What was he doing there, please? And you call that a left back? Modern day left back, I get it. But this man don't play like a left back, and it seems quite erratic in my opinion. It just seems all over the place. I know it was his first year in the Premier League. It was quite injury prone, but listen, when he was first coming in, a lot of people said, we don't need him. Who's his brother? I looked at it and I basically said, on my TikTok video, I said, this guy is too injury prone. I said this guy is an injury prone guy. So why are we getting him? I just really didn't understand. So for me, I would keep Kivio, because this is not the first time he's deputized for Gabriel. He did it, I think, the previous season or earlier in the season last year as well. And he did it again. Pretty much he played well against Real Madrid. He played well against PSG, because we can't blame that on him. So yeah, like, bro, it is what it is. It almost sounds too good to be true. 100%. Mate, love it as well. Yeah, the guy's a model. Brother, you know I'm right. That's why you're laughing. You know I'm right. Let's be honest. The guy is busy. He's more busy doing. He's more behind the cameras doing photo shoots than he is on a pitch banging in goals or kicking ball. Let's be honest about it. The guy is always there behind the camera doing modeling and getting his chest out and doing all this flary, whatever, bro. Like, listen, I personally would get rid of Calafiori. There's teams in Italy that want him back. Apparently AC Milan want him. Bologna even want him back. Take him back. 40 million, easy. Just take it. Take it. Reinvest that into an attacking player. Talking about an attacking player, seeing as we're talking about Rodrigo and Eze, I'm going to throw in another option, guys, because another reputable, um, media, what did they blood? Another reputable journalist basically put this out there earlier today, right? And this is basically what he said, guys. Mohammed Kudus. He then said, Sammy Mockbell of the BBC, he basically said, it wouldn't shock me if Arsenal have made an inquiry for Mohammed Kudus, because there've been interest in there in the past. My information on Kudus is that all of the top 6 in the Premier League have checked on his condition on that deal. He's got an £85 million release clause for the Premier League clubs, but I think West Ham would be willing to take below that. However much that may be, maybe what, 70 million, give or take. There is a long-term interest there, and maybe this is one to watch in the absence of getting Rodrigo or Gordon. Listen, let's not even put Gordon in this topic or in this equation, because, brother, Gordon can stay in Newcastle. Personally, I'm not a Gordon fan. He does not elevate us or take us to the next level, in my opinion. The people that's going to take us to the next level are players like Mohamed Kudus, Eze, Rodrigo. Those are the attacking players right now that I can think off the top of my head that's probably available. Because let's be honest, my first choice was Isak. But we all know that ain't going to happen. We know this. Isak is never going to happen. So we're going to have to take it back down a notch, because ultimately Isak is not happening. Because apparently Liverpool inquired about Isak as well, and now they've looked at it and thought, that's not doable. That's why they've now also pivoted, and now they're looking at the possibility of getting Gyökeres, because we all know Darwin Núñez is going. So for me, Mohamed Kudus, maybe even if they took 70 to 75 million pounds, is that something potentially that we can explore? Is it something that we can actually explore when it comes to an attacking player? Because before he went to West Ham, I was literally saying, please get Kudus, please get Kudus. Because it was around the same time I think we got Timber, that he also left. It was the same year, I'm sure of it. Because we got Timber, West Ham got Kudus, and I was just like, and I think that was when also there was another player that I was like, we should have gotten, Gimaresh, and then he went to Newcastle. And yeah, and I was just like, why didn't we get Kudus? And I just knew West Ham are going to try and charge an arm and a leg for this guy. And that's exactly what they are doing. £85 million release clause. How did he even agree to that? I don't understand it. I really don't understand. Let me get your comments in. Reminds me of the Bellerin days. He was so busy with his Instagram photo shoot. I know you're talking about Calafiori, and you're not wrong, my brother. You're not wrong. He's a good player, but is he worth 70 million or more? I'm not sure. I'm assuming that you're talking about Kudus. Bro, Kudus is good. Kudus is good. Let's be honest about it. Oh, man, but it's refreshing to see someone that have good takes on YouTube. It's a rare thing, believe it or not. Brother, appreciate you, man. Appreciate the love. Honestly, I'm trying my best. That's all I can do. Try to be consistent, and I'm trying my best. I'm not here to be shy and whatever. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some people will agree with me, some people won't. It is what it is. This is all about opinions at the end of the day. And I just want to engage with my fellow Gooners, hence the reason the name Mr. Gooner. I want to, engage with you, man. So I appreciate you for even being here. Thank you so much. And then Wesley, you basically said, Kudus got game, but for that price is a no. Are you serious? What about if we was able to get him for like 70 million? Maybe plus add-ons, for example. Would you then be tempted? Because for me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not even saying Kudus instead of, let's say, a Rodrigo and Eze. Because when you look at it right now, because I went through the team yesterday, right? And I probably will do it again. I went through the team yesterday, and couple of positions that we don't have backup players to are the right centre back. From what I calculated in my head, we don't have we don't have an out and out striker, so that's basically voided. And also the right wing, which is where Bukayo Saka plays. We don't have a backup. We don't have a backup for that. So for me, I'm not even saying get Kudus instead of a Eze or Rodrigo. I'm basically saying get Kudus and an Eze or Rodrigo, because I want to be able to look at the bench and have a dilemma and thinking, I've got options to bring on. I want to be able to look and thinking, I've got Kudus on the bench, I've got either Trossard or Martinelli on the bench, and I've got Rodrigo or Eze, and you got Wanyeri on the bench. And then you're looking at the defenders, you got Kivio, which is playing well. Then you're looking at maybe you got this new Mosquera guy on the bench, and you're thinking, I bet we got strength in depth all of a sudden. That's just me. But we all know, if you've been an Arsenal fan for long enough, you know how Arsenal Football Club operates, especially since the Kroenkes took over 100%. They're just basically taking the money over to America. Let's be honest about it. But for me, we need, because I said it before the season ended, we needed at least, I think I said 5 to 6 new signings this window. And that was off the basis that, let's say, Partey wasn't going, because I knew Jorginho was going. So I was hoping we would have kept Partey, but I knew if Partey went, then it would have been 7. So let's say, for example, I said initially we would have needed, we would have needed a goalkeeper because we knew Neto was going back to Bournemouth. Excuse me. We would have needed another central defense midfielder, an additional CDM. So that's 3, a striker, that's 4. And I was saying, I think it was 1 right wing player for Saka and probably another left winger. So that was about 5 or 6. And obviously now that Partey is going, obviously hence the reason why we're getting Norgard in. So at the moment, we've got Kepa in, we've got Zubimendi in, we've got Norgard in, so that's 3. So that's basically 2 CDMs, 1 goalkeeper. And it's looking like with this guy, in terms of this guy, it's looking like he's gonna be our 4th signing. So that's a centre back. So that's covering that, which is basically what I wanted. Now we need a striker. So that's basically 4 players that would have come in, give or take. So now we need 2 to 3 more, in my opinion, which is a striker, a right winger, and a left winger. And I think we'll be good. And I want to just get your opinion as well, because if we are getting Rodrigo or Eze on that left wing, who would you guys be getting rid of? Who would you guys be getting rid of in terms of Martinelli? In terms of Martinelli or Trossard? Let me see what you guys are saying. Could have got game. Yep. 70 million, but the other option gets more hyped. Eze, Rodrigo, Kudus in that order. Okay. It's not bad. All right. I see what you're saying. And listen, I'm not even gonna say no to that at all. That's football. It's great to have a talk about it and be able to have different opinions. Exactly, my guy. That's exactly what I've been saying all this time. What's your take on the Leap signing another Chelsea man? Oh God. Leap signing? I'm assuming that you're talking about Kepa. Listen. Oh gosh. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. I saw like a funny video today. It was like, every time Chelsea wanted to get rid of their trash players, they dumped them in Arsenal's literally front door. And I laughed because it's true. It's true. The Partey situation hurt me, not gonna lie. Listen, I spoke about that all day yesterday, and I felt like I needed to vent about it yesterday when it was happening live and direct. and I felt like I have done that. I don't really want to revisit it because I get really emotional about it, and I get really because I'm so passionate and I love Partey, in my opinion. I just feel like it's a massive mistake, in my opinion. I've said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. Getting rid of Partey is gonna be one of Arsenal's biggest mistake in recent years, in my opinion. It's like, I know he's 31, and I know he was requesting for a higher wage in terms of 250 to 300 grand a week reportedly, but we're not 100% sure on that. But ultimately, for me, when it comes to Thomas Partey, he was so integral to our play last season. I was watching compilation videos of him earlier today of last season alone, let alone the seasons before. And a lot of people's argument are, oh, he's only played an X amount of game in 5 years, he's injury prone. But then let me put and then he wants 250 grand a week. But let me put this to you, Jesus, how many games has he played for Arsenal in 3 years? I saw a stat. I'm not a fan of stat, but this one made sense. Jesus, yeah, it's about 7 or 8 games less played or missed. It's missed 7 games less than Partey had in 3 years than Partey has in 5 years. So basically, what I'm trying to say is Gabriel Jesus has been injured so much that he's missed 7 less games in 3 years than Partey has in 5 years. And he's getting paid about 256 grand a week. But no one's talking about that. No one's talking about that. And I don't get it. So it's like, when you're going to make an argument, come correct. And I'm open to have conversation and have a healthy debate with people. But like, I had another thing online with somebody today, and somebody said, "Oh, did you not see the chance, the header that he gave away against PSG and then led to their first goal, or when he was mucking about at the edge of the box and then PSG went and scored?" And I'm like, okay, cool, but players do make mistakes. But are you now going to solely say it was Partey's fault? Saliba made a mistake when Vinny went to go and score when we played Real Madrid. Nobody went, oh, it's Saliba, because we're so used to Saliba not making mistakes. Players will make mistakes. Ronaldo has made mistakes. He's missed chances. He's one of the greatest players ever. Messi has made mistakes. So we can't now scapegoat a player and say, oh, the defensive header that you did, by the way, trying to prevent a goal, led to a goal, even though it deflected and went in. I'm sorry, but I would defend Partey. I'm a Partey guy, I'm sorry, I'm a Partey guy. I'm sorry, I'm a Partey guy. So let me see what you're saying. So that's basically Wesley. That's my take on Partey. Just yeah, I'm sure you can see how really emotional I get. Yeah, she said, that's a tough one. I love Martinelli. Okay, he's so inconsistent, and Trossard only seems to be on fire when it comes off the bench. He's the best 12 man we've got. That's what I'll say to that. But I'll probably keep Martinelli. Trossard is the best 12 man Arsenal has or has ever had. He's the best 12 man. That's what I'm saying. Basically, what you're saying is he comes off the bench, he bangs. And I agree with you. But my problem with Martinelli is, and that's always been, is he doesn't take on his man enough. If you remember the Martinelli from the 2022-23 season, that's the Martinelli I want back. There was times last season Martinelli had the opportunity to run with the ball. Your greatest strength that Thierry Henry also quoted is to run. You have pace. He will stop and he'll pass it back. I'm like, bro, what's going on? What's going on? Have you also realized Martinelli can't do step over to save his life? Martinelli has to be the only Brazilian that I know of that can't do step overs that I've watched, whether it's on TV or live. Martinelli can't do step overs. But saying all of that, age profile, ceiling height, I'd rather keep Martinelli. That's just me. So yeah. That is true. We keep taking the Chelsea rejects. Yeah, we're taking another one. We get rid of one in Jorginho. We take another one in Kepa. Which one are we going to take next year? We took Havertz, we took Jorginho, we took Willian, we took Peter Cech, we took David Luiz, we took William Gallas. The list goes on. I'm sure come next season, we'll probably be taking another one. But I do love Havertz. He's got something about him. He's won me over, not as a first choice striker though, but as a squad player, I do like him. You do like the guy. You say that, but I've read or I've heard that apparently, even if we do get a striker, Arteta is still going to be playing Havertz up front. He's still going to be his first choice striker. Beyond me. Beyond me. There is no way you're going to spend. I know we got Havertz for like, is it 65 million pounds, but there's no way you're going to spend almost 70 to 80 million pounds on a striker and put him on the bench. No bloody way. Because this is the thing. And then it's either Havertz plays up front as well as, or he's going to drop behind the striker. But I guess we'll have to wait and see. I feel that Jesus man gets serious injuries every time he's going. He gets going. Yes, I know that. It is serious injuries. 2 ACLs. But it's still an injury, isn't it? He's still not playing for the club. It's just like back in the day when we used to have Abu Dhabi. He was always getting injured. He hardly played. So, I don't know. Like, I don't even like, for example, what's his name? Robbie Van Persie. Like, he always got injured. There was times when he was unreliable, but we knew he was a good player when he was fit. Hence the reason why he then went on to Manchester United and won the league with them. Pretty much the only season he never got injured. But my point is, if we're going to use one excuse for one player, then we need to sort of broaden that and look at it as a whole and say, if you're saying maybe the reason why we're getting rid of Partey is because he wants more money, his age profile, his injury record, okay, fair enough. But then you can't now not use that same excuse or that same reasoning for other players because what? I don't know. Because we favorite. I don't know. I really don't know. For the life of me, I can't understand why Martinelli suddenly stopped talking, stopped taking on his man. It baffles me. Me and you too, brother. Listen, I'm watching him. Whether he's like I go to a lot of Arsenal games and I watch it live, and I'm watching and I'm like, run, bro, just run. Like, God gave you speed, maybe not the technical abilities all over, but God gave you speed. Use it. You think if that was Henry, he'd be waiting. He's taking you on. And that's where you create fear. Like, that's why our right side is a lot stronger than our left. Hence the reason why we need players like Rodrigo or an Eze. Because I would personally say Rodrigo, because of the pace and the unpredictability, he can literally take a man on. Eze probably can, but I think Eze is better in the middle of the park, in my opinion, in that sort of Odegaard role. That's where Eze should be playing. But in terms of the wing, imagine you had Rodrigo on the left and you had Saka on your right. Man, bro, you look at the team sheet. I'm not going to lie. If that was me as the opposition, I'll be shook. I'll be shook. I'll be like, rah. So, like, imagine like opposition managers or their coaches and their game plan thinking, okay, got Saka on one wing, got Rodrigo on one wing. How do we plan to stop them? Because we also then still need to be able to attack. Because everybody was doubling up on Bukayo Saka. You can't double up on Saka and double up on Rodrigo. Because then it's either you leave the middle of the park for free and then our striker would literally be having a field day. Or our wingers can literally push up as they always do because they're always inverting. Other teams will be thinking, I mean, I'm not a football coach, but if I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, how do we plan against that? We've got speed and skill on the right. We've got speed and skill on the left. Oh my God. What do we do? And then we got either a Sesko or Gyökeres in the middle. Got Odegaard literally just picking all the pocket alongside Zubimendi. And you're thinking, what do we do? How do we combat this? That's that's the kind of problem I want to give to other teams when they're literally playing us. Players are already going to make mistakes. Gabriel has made many mistakes, exactly my point, but he's still my absolute favorite Arsenal player. Absolutely love that guy. He's our best defender, in my opinion. Right now, I cannot disagree with you. He's proven that he was our best player last season, in my opinion. I know Declan Rice, I think he got the award for the Arsenal's best player of the season. I think that was his, I think he did. Yeah, I'm sure he did. But Gabriel was not too far off. I think that injury that he had towards the end of the season kind of like um went against him a little bit in terms of the voting. But yeah, listen, I definitely can't disagree with you, my bro. I can't disagree with you. And then you went on to say Havertz in midfield doesn't work either, though. So it will be interesting to see where he plays when we get a striker in. Very interesting. And this is what I'm saying. Like, I do wonder because it seems like Arteta has never played with or actually, let me not say never, but he played with Aubameyang and Lacazette. But did he really use them in the right position? Did he use them as well as he could have? Probably not. And I just felt like because he was just learning his trade when he first came in, especially when we had Aubameyang and Lacazette, he didn't really know how to use them properly in the system. So now it's going to be very interesting when we get an out and out striker how we're going to play because he seems to like all this force nine type of players. Um, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know how it's gonna maneuver playing with an out and out striker, and that's gonna be very interesting to see indeed. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Does Havertz work in the midfield? He hasn't in the past. He definitely hasn't in the past. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I think the preseason is gonna give us a lot of ideas and a lot of sort of we'll see how basically how Ateta is looking to use the players in their positions or not, or the kind of play of style of play that he wants to basically play. So let's see. Yates, you went on to say, could the Martinelli thing be a confidence thing or maybe something Arteta has instructed him to do? I think it's a bit of both. I honestly think it's a bit of both, to say the least. I'm of the opinion. I think I said this to a friend as well last season. I think Arteta is coaching them too much to the T. Because when you watch Arsenal play and you watch, let's say, because everybody's always comparing him and basically saying he's Pep's protege, for example. If that is the case, when you compare the two managers, how many times do you see Pep? Like, I'm not saying he doesn't do it, but how many times do you see Pep on a touchline saying, Ali, 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 come on, vamos, 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 come here. Like, you barely see it. It's like Arteta is coaching from the sideline, like 90 minutes throughout the game. Whereas Pep will go and sit down, will come up when he's pissed off, and then he's doing all this, like his finger, you know how he is. Like, come here. And that's almost the coaching. And then obviously you see all his emotionals and all his sort of reactions and stuff. That's the most you get from Pep. But basically, the point I'm trying to say is, I basically think it's a bit of both with Martinelli. He has lost confidence. I think you remember when he got injured, it's like he came back not the same player from the year before. So that kind of killed his confidence a little bit. He got it back a little bit, but because where he's been coached, I think he's been coached to the T. Like he's not given the freedom to just basically just play, like enjoy football. Like you look at like a Kevin De Bruyne when before he left, that man just enjoyed and played football. Like he was like a kid in a park, and that's when you saw the best of Kevin De Bruyne. And I just feel like with Martinelli and certain players in the team, Arteta needs to do that with them, and Martinelli is definitely one of them. Um, Rice 2 goals against Real Madrid alone won that award. Absolutely magical. Yep, nah, you're definitely right. 100%. I was literally watching the highlights again today. I've watched those goals like 1,000,000,000 times. Imagine Prime Oba in his team. My goodness. Oh, bro, don't even get me started. Ironically, did you see the post that he did on Instagram the other day? Actually, let me see if I can actually get it up. My guy literally, I was just like, is that Obama Yang? I was like, what? That's Obama Yang, yeah? my guy basically modeling the Henry shirt. I'm sure you guys saw it. I'm definitely sure you guys have seen that. But yeah, I was just like, is that Oba? Okay, Aubameyang, yeah, all right, cool. But then, like you said, I was just like, imagine we had Aubameyang. Imagine we had Aubameyang in this team right now. And I was just like, oh, do you know how sick that would be? Do you know how sick that would be? But yeah, imagine. I mean, obviously he played together with Bukayo Saka, but Aubameyang in his prime, Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Trossard, Odegaard right now. Yeah, we'll be cooking. We will be cooking. I hate how things ended with him. 110%. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have watched the documentary. We kind of got a little bit of an insight into it. I personally think there's a little bit more than that. And I listened actually, and I watched and read the interview that he did last season with David Ornstein of the Athletic, and he basically gave his views on that. Not even his views, basically his side of the story. And the documentary kind of showed what they wanted to show. So I wasn't really happy about that because I'm also a fan of Aubameyang. It was more to do with his mum, from what he was saying. It wasn't, and obviously they made it out as if like he had disciplinary issues. Like, yeah, of course. Like, I made a mistake. I'll say sorry when I need to. But he said when it comes to his mum, he's not apologizing. And I was like, you know what? I rate you. No, it always looks off with Havertz in the middle. There was no balance, unfortunately. I definitely agree with you. Definitely agree with you. About Henry. Yeah, I know this is literally it. Look at this. Just look at these guys. Just look at that. I was just like, Aubameyang. Yeah, I was reminiscing. I was just like, what? Aubameyang in a Henry shirt. Look at him. Look at that pose. Look at that. Yeah, he did well with that one. He did well. And he basically made the internet go crazy. Crazy. But yeah. Um, what are you saying? What are you saying? You know, I always look so high for some midfield. Yep, we get that already. And then you went on to say, still don't understand all the Arteta out stuff that comes up every now and again. The guy literally picked up from a total mess and now has a mission in the Champions League semi-final and consistently challenging. No, I mean, yeah, listen, it's definitely got us from a rot. Listen, I'm not in the Arteta camp, Arteta out camp at all yet. I say yet because things change, but I don't think I'm going to be saying Arteta out. And I think ultimately it's a case of, I think the problem with Arteta is he doesn't sign the players that we need at the right time. For example, we needed a striker last season in the summer. He got Calafiori. 43 million miles on Calafiori. Yes, you can argue and say he tried to get Sesko in. If you really wanted the player and you really, really wanted the player, I personally think you could have got him. But he didn't. He got Calafiori. He got Marino. We didn't need a Marino. He got Marino. And that's another player we've got there. I almost forgot. Got Marino. Got Calafiori. And then a couple of years back, he went to go and get Fabio Vieira. For what? That came out of nowhere. And now what he went to play in a Club World Cup with Porto. It's like, come on, man. Oh, come on. Yeah, it's a bit much. You can battle a little bit dramatic on the side, like a little bit dramatic, bro. There was a did you not see the reason why he missed? He missed the game against, I think it was Newcastle, and he got a yellow card towards the end of the season because it was. I mean, he kicked the ball onto the field, and he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He tried it, but he knew what he was doing. Let's be honest about that. Still don't understand all the artists. Yep. I said that Henry baby. Yep. So I'm catching up with your chats, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I appreciate you guys, honestly. Love Abba will always be a legend. The Chelsea thing was a mistake. We still love the guy. That yeah, he made a mistake, and I think he admitted that. He definitely admitted that. He said it was definitely something that um he did, and I think that whole, the whole promo thing that he did when it's like, oh, what was it that he said about the Chelsea? when Arsenal was playing Chelsea. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I remember in his interview as well with the Athletic, he basically said, "Yeah, it was a mistake." Like he just went along with it. He didn't realize that that's what they were gonna make it look like, or what. You know when they, when you shoot something and then it's been edited and they use it the way they want to use it, and then when it comes out, it's making him look bad. And I think that's what made him regret it. That he didn't realize it was gonna come out the way it did, and it was just like, yeah, you guys messed me up. Aura, don't know. My guy Oba, no, the guys, the game, imagine Obama Yang in a Henry shirt. Chef kiss. Oh, it has to go seriously wrong before I go Arteta out. Yeah, I mean, when you say seriously wrong, what is seriously wrong? Because would you be content? Because when you're saying seriously wrong, what's your interpretation of seriously wrong? Because, okay, listen, we can all agree he's gotten us from 8th place to challenging for the title, quarterfinals, Champions League, semi-finals, Champions League, back to back. But then his second. The first year we flopped that. The second year we definitely flopped that. The third year we just fell off. So at what point do you then say this man cannot get us over the line? Does he actually have to do something wrong? Or could you not just look at it and say, you know what, he's tried his best, but for some reason, towards the end of the season or during the season, he can't get us over the line? Because you look at it like last season, you know what killed us? The draws. We drew too much because we only lost, 3 games, I think? But we drew too many games to the point where Manchester City, that had such a bad season, were not too far from us. How does that work? We drew so many games. So my question to you, Yates, when you say seriously wrong, what's your interpretation of seriously wrong? So, yeah, let me know, bro. Do we know if Arteta had a say in not getting a striker? I remember there being some being hints in press conferences that he wanted a striker, and he said he needed one last season. No, he said, I think if I remember correctly, he was saying it more towards the January transfer window when I think we knew that Saka was out. I think was it Jesus out? No, Jesus was out after, I think, because Jesus got injured in the FA Cup against Manchester United, which would have been in January. Actually, no, yeah, Jesus got injured in January, just at the beginning, actually, of the transfer window. So we had Saka out, we had Jesus out, and we needed a striker throughout January. I know he kept sort of dropping hints here and there. And then towards the end of the transfer window, we tried to go for Ollie Watkins. That never materialized. And then it was a case of transfer window close, Havertz get injured. So, and I think part of the problem was we knew that, I don't know if Edu had left or was leaving or was on gardening. No, he was on gardening leave. Then Hato was in charge. But there, we acted too late, because when it came to that Watkins deal, Arsenal acted only because John Duran, because they probably heard that, hold on a minute, Saudi are in for John Duran. And if you know you want Watkins, if you don't go and get him now, and they let John Duran go, they're not going to let John Duran and Watkins go. But before you know it, Aston Villa had already agreed a fee with Saudi for John Duran. So they were never going to let Watkins go. If we really wanted Watkins, we should have got him at the beginning of the transfer window, in my opinion. But we never did. I remember the Arteta / De Bruyne battle on the sideline a few years back. Arteta was out of order that day. Funny as fuck. I know. I remember. I think it was something to do with the ball, innit? It was holding onto the ball, and I think Kevin De Bruyne either hit it out of his hand and basically pushed him away. But Arteta didn't, if I remember correctly, it didn't really like retaliate too tough. He just basically looked at him. Obviously, they worked together for many years before. He just basically looked at him and shrugged it off and thought, yeah, whatever. Watch, yeah, it's cool. I definitely remember that. That was too funny. And that we didn't sign anyone in January, that cost us 2, but also Liverpool won almost every game from January to May. You say that, but if we have kept the pace and kept the pressure, it could have been a different story. Because yes, you can argue and say maybe they took the foot off the gas towards the end of the season when they knew they already won the league. But let's just imagine they hadn't, and all the teams that they still had to play, it could have been, it could, listen, it's all hypothetical. We don't know. It could have basically been a different story, but we would never know. I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll never know. Seriously wrong. Okay, seriously wrong would be out of Europe by Christmas. That's never gonna happen. If it did, bruh. Out of the title race and struggling for top 4, that would make me question things. Okay, so the first point, seriously out of Europe by Christmas, I don't see that happening because there's now 8 games in the Champions League, and it necessarily, the group stages tend to finish in January now. I think the 8th game is in January. Excuse me. So I don't see that one happening. What I could see happening is struggling for top 4. And I say that to say this. Manchester City have strengthened. Liverpool have strengthened hard. Manchester United might strengthen. You've got Chelsea to deal with. Let me not even say Spurs because, yeah, Spurs are Spurs, regardless of whoever they bring in. Forest, potentially. They're signing players now as well. So they might try to go again. So, and Newcastle. How did I forget about Newcastle? So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Your second point is we could potentially find ourselves fighting for 3rd or 4th. And let's say, for example, the English teams don't go as far in Europe as they did this season. We may not have a 5th place for the Champions League qualifications for the following season, if that makes sense. So we could watch the space. I really wanted Duran. Was disappointed to see him go to Saudi. Yeah, he was too young to go to Saudi, in my opinion. That would have definitely been somebody that we could have gotten, and I think he would have come. It would have definitely come. All right, let's just do a couple more. I appreciate you guys. Rah, almost an hour and a half. It's the longest show I've had. Thank you. Honestly, thank you for sticking with me, guys. Much appreciated. I'll try and do this more as much as possible, and obviously try to get some guests on as well so we can have more chat, more debate. But honestly, from my heart, I really appreciate you guys joining me tonight and engaging with me. It's been fun. I love this. Chelsea wouldn't have got top 4 if Liverpool hadn't won the league so soon, and Villa would have been in the Champions League. Pain, I know. I didn't want Chelsea in the. To be fair, the 2 teams, I'm not gonna lie. The 2 teams I didn't want in the Champions League were Newcastle for selfish reasons, and I'm sure you know why, and Chelsea because I just don't like them. Newcastle because if they didn't make Champions League, they would have had to sell Isak, as in they would have had no option. Even right now, I've got a source in Newcastle, by the way. I've got a source in Newcastle. I know I'm not that guy, but I do have one source in Newcastle who has told me the board has discussed possible outgoings. So the 2 outgoings that they've put on the list for potential because of the PSR is Miley and Isak. But in asterisks, they said the coach will not be happy with that. So if Newcastle had to sell, they would have basically been up to selling Isak and Miley. Those are the 2 players they've identified that would basically generate them the most money. That's what my source is saying. It's not just saying it. I saw it. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it. I was just like, ooh. Arsenal, go for Isak. But yeah, that's the reason why I didn't want Newcastle to have gotten in the Champions League. And obviously on the last day they made it, and that really kind of annoyed the hell out of me. Not gonna lie. Well, okay, if they were out of Champions League by January, not a fan of the new format, can't lie. It confuses me. Do you know what? I've come to terms with it. At the start, it was like, what's going on? 8 games, 4 games at home for sure. Finishing in January. The first game is on a Thursday. I was like, what? But I had no choice. We've got no choice but to come to terms with it, bro. No choice. I think at the point Liverpool and City will be above us as it stands, but I definitely think that we are good enough to get third. But let's see what happens after the window. Some people are still actually putting us to win the league. Some people are actually still putting us to win the league. Again, like you said, 110% right. We have to judge it at the end of the window. And I think we need to get all our businesses done before Christmas, before preseason. No, mate, you are awesome. Love the content. You keep this up, and this chat will be popping off in no time. Listen, I'm hoping so, man. I'm hoping so. Honestly, I'm hoping so. Much appreciated, bro. Much love. Isak is our dream signing. Maybe one day, as long as he doesn't go to Liverpool first. Oh no, don't say that. Don't say that. They want to get your careers. Let them get your careers. Do you know what? Yeah, there was a part of me that was thinking like maybe the reason why Arsenal are delaying this whole striking position and making a confirmed or firm decision on the player that they want is because they know something about Isak. I don't know. After I found out what I found out that time, and I was like, do Arsenal know something about Isak? And are they waiting? Do you know what I mean? Even if they look at it and think we can push and potentially maybe go for 150 mil for Isak, because with Isak you've got guaranteed 20 goals per season. That's just in the Premier League alone. Do you know what I mean? So that's basically how I see it. Honestly speaking, that's basically how I see it. But listen, I'm gonna end it there, guys. I appreciate you guys so much, so much. Um, one more chat, Wesley. What are you saying? Liverpool better keep their hands on. You might are trying to keep me on longer. Liverpool better keep their hands off Isak. I will lose it if Liverpool snatch him up. Snapchat. We have to be. We have been told he is untouchable. You know the thing is, yeah, you say he is untouchable, but any player is available at the right price. You have to just be willing to pay for it. Because, for example, if you wanted to buy a product off me, and they're saying, "Oh, in your eyes, you're basically saying it's worth this much," and I'm telling you, no, I think it's worth this much. An item is only worth as much as the seller is willing to price it, and it's up to you to buy. So we can hope in that case, if so, all is forgiven. I can't lie, mate. I'm telling you, if at the end of this transfer window, for whatever reason, however way we do it, we sign Isak, oh my god, this channel's gonna go mad. You be seeing me doing backflips and dances on stream on live. I swear to you, bro. I will go. Oh, yeah. I'll just be going wild. You're seeing Cecil doing dances on AFTV. He can't match me, bro. He can't match me. Listen, if we sign Isak, oh my, I'll get the Michael Jackson out. I'm telling you that now. But yeah, listen, much love. Thank you for the show. Awesome vibes. Much love, Yates. Thank you, Wesley. Your 150 for Isak is worth it to me. And I totally agree with you. I totally agree with you. Listen, I'm hoping we're going to have more news tomorrow as per usual. I'll probably go live tomorrow evening, probably a little bit earlier on Friday evening. If not, then it's going to have to be the weekend, but we'll see how things go. But listen, I'm going to be bringing out videos as anytime that we get breaking news from the Arsenal when it comes to transfers, anything to do with Arsenal or just generally football. I'm going to talk about general football as well, not just Arsenal, because I'm a football man. Let's put it that way. So I love football. I eat and sleep and dream football and everything else. But listen, most importantly, I want to shout you guys out. Yates, Wesley, thank you for keeping me company tonight. You have made my night. I only planned to have been here for half an hour because I thought I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I thought I wasn't gonna get no one on, but you guys came on and you have made my night. I've been here for an hour and a half, and that's because of you guys. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for joining me, for having something to talk about for once, not just me talking to myself. And I just also wanted to say as well, thank you for the comments. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the comments about my setup. And I hope, yeah, listen, yeah, it's for you guys. It's what I do, is what I love, what I enjoy. I love Arsenal. I love talking about Arsenal. So thank you. That's all I'm saying. I just want to say thank you. I will be back, if not tomorrow. If you're not following me on socials, I'm on X, as they call it. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I'm sure you guys probably know Mr. Gooner AFC. Check it out. But I'm still elevating. I'm still growing. Spread the word. Much appreciated. And hopefully we can grow together. And hopefully one day, I do want to get one of you guys on. I do want to get one of you guys on. So, oh, you stumbled upon the channel. I hope you've subscribed though. I hope you've subscribed. Much love, honestly. Like, I feel so humbled. Um, but yeah, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. Obviously, here, where else am I? TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, all there. Um, I want to get one of you guys on. I want to have a conversation. I want to get one of you guys on. If you guys are interested in coming on, follow me on TikTok, Instagram. Let's have a conversation. I'll send you the links. I'll get you guys up on my live one of these times. We can discuss this in person. I would love to hear from you so I can actually see you guys if you guys are willing. I know some people are not willing and they like just to be in the chats. I get it. Um, yeah, much love. Thank you so much, Wesley. Thank you so much. But I know some people don't like coming on and showing their face, and that's fine. I'm not forcing anybody. I'm just here for the vibes. And thank you guys for keeping me company. I will be back. Check out my videos as they come out. Put that notification bell on. And if you have any tips for me in regards to how I can elevate my production, please do let me know. I'm here to grow. I'm here to listen to you guys. I'm here for you. I'm here for Arsenal. You guys are my Gooner family. So let's grow together. Much appreciated. And yeah, I will catch you guys on the next show. Take care. Peace out.